Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we need to requisition some science. And honestly, most of these missions aren't anything that we're going to do. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do any of those missions. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our iteration of the grasshopper, the 1I variant, and we are going to be launching this, and of course recovering it. But we're going to do at least, I think, 2 to 3 launches in orbit for the purpose of gathering data. We need to get as much science as we can. So let's go ahead and launch this. We'll need to get into orbit. And I think we're going to make a slight experiment here. Now, we're not going to run this materials study here. Well, it's worth 1.6. You know what? We'll do it. Excellent. 1.6 science. There we go. And we do want to launch a one eye here. And this is this variant. I'll just launch it from the VAP. I'm used to doing it that way. So we'll just launch it from here. And I think I'm going to change the science, the X science readout to, instead of being at 0.1 as the minimum science, we'll set it to 1.0. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch this, and I'm going to try to do a little bit more of a gravity turn with the solid rocket motors. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. We'll find out. This is a bit of an experimental launch, but we're also trying to gather a bunch of science. So we'll go ahead and materials study there. Excellent. Of course, we can't EVA report. Going to take the apoapsis up to about 20 kilometers before we start our gravity turn. The solid stage is definitely a little overpowered for this rocket. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we're gonna try to gravity turn a little bit. Ooh, that's not going well. That is not going well at all. Okay. Okay, I messed up. We'll accept it. Gonna drop the drogue chutes. And we are going to grab all of this data. We are going to collect everything. And we're just going straight back down. I messed up, and I will own that. Oh, I want to deploy this, but it's already set to deploy. Okay. So, I'm going to turn SAS off. And we are just going to physics warp here. And we're going to start falling down a little bit. We're going too fast to EVA. I was thinking about EVAing at the peak. I decided against it. Okay, there goes our main chute. So this did not go well, but that's entirely because I messed it up. But we will still get some science from this. Okay. I'm going to drop the time warp off because I want to go ahead and bump up the altitude here to 2,000 so that we slow down considerably more, down to about our final descent level, because I want to grab this EVA report. We'll grab that. And we'll board. And we'll collect that in the experiment storage module. And now we'll physics warp towards the ground. This could take a little bit to get there. But, yeah, that could have gone way worse, honestly. I mean, I messed it up. It was operator error, it was not rocket error. I did learn that the solid rocket motors, don't try to gravity turn with them. It did not go well. Luckily, we didn't lose anything from that, except a little money. But honestly, we would have had to redo this launch anyway because of the materials study. Okay, we are going to be hitting the ground in a moment. What's our radar altitude? There we go. Okay, let's ditch our time warp. I'm assuming, yeah, I'm not surprised that we lost our that we lost our heat shield there, but that's fine. We will go ahead and crew report, temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan, EVA report. Perfect. So that's going to get us a surprising amount of science, considering how much of a failure that flight was. But it was entirely my own fault. I accidentally hit space twice, and I should have hit it once. So that was 60 science. Like I said, it's a surprising amount. So I think we'll grab general construction next so that we have access to struts. There we go. And then advanced rocketry is probably going to be what we're going to go for after that. Also, what's this? We return to the surface. I guess we've always done splashdowns before? Okay, I'll take it. So we're going to make a very, very small tweak to this rocket, and that is specifically that we are going to put struts in at the top here, like so, and at the bottom, like so. I don't believe that those are strictly speaking necessary, but I wanted to do that just to make sure we're a little bit more stable. Now, we don't have any control surfaces at this point. There's no point in putting winglets on. I think we just go straight up when we've got the solid rocket motors and call it good. So we're going to launch this again, and this time we're going to go a little bit further. That said, I changed my mind. We're going to revert that to vehicle assembly, because I have changed my mind here on this service bay and only having the single mystery goo unit. I want to have two of these. And then we'll put the barometer there and the thermometer there. There we go. Okay. Save that, and we'll launch. Now we can afford to do several more of these launches. I'm thinking that we will do 2 more. This one, we're going to go a little further, to be sure. I think we'll go into orbit with both of them. And then after that, we'll look to go a little bit further, but we need to get caught up on our... Hello. There we go. We need to get caught up on our science, because we didn't have the Science Junior for the first couple of launches. So we need to get caught up on that one. And since that's a non-repeatable experiment, unless you have a scientist to reset it, that means that we're going to have to do multiple launches because we don't currently have a scientist in this. I thought I put Valentina in this. I'm actually going to revert that back once more really quickly here. The game crashed. Oh, maybe not. Maybe? I saw an error message. Yeah, the game crashed. Okay. I did not expect that. I wonder where the latest autosave was. Well, let's just go ahead and load this right on back in. Hopefully that won't take too long. It does seem to be taking a little bit. I don't know why the game crashed there, if I'm honest. All I did was revert back to the launch or back to the vehicle assembly building. In theory, I think it creates an autosave after you terminate a flight like we did. So it should be no different. We had what, 128,000 space bucks, I believe. So hopefully that'll be fine. Okay. We are going to resume this saved game. Yeah, that looks correct. So we should be where we should be, if that makes sense. Before that launch. So that's the correct amount of science. Yeah, this all looks good. So we'll go ahead and load in the 1i. This is the auto-saved variant. I am going to make a quick change here because this is one of the reasons I wanted to revert, was I wanted to put the drogue chutes on their own stage. The other reason was I wanted to put in Valentina. Okay, so let's get her some XP. And let's get this launched. I don't know if the X Science change will have saved. Apparently it did. So that's perfect. Let's just go ahead and launch this. I'm going to go ahead and run this material study here in flying low. Okay. And let's see just how high going straight up with just the solid rocket motors gets us in terms of apoapsis. Solid rocket motors will eliminate themselves, so that's fine. And it's definitely a lot more stable with those struts. There's no doubt about that. 30 kilometers. 40. Okay, I'm an idiot. I was not throttled up. Oh boy. Well, there's a couple of things that we can do here. First off, I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to deploy our drogue chutes immediately. Did our drogue chutes deploy? Is it a minimum pressure thing? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So Valentina may die here. I have no idea. We should probably angle over this way a little bit in hopes that aerodynamic forces will help us. We're going to go up to 43 kilometers. I can't believe I didn't throttle up. I'm so rusty at this game. Once again, it was my error, not the game's error. So I'm not going to revert this. Yeah, you can see here that just being angled like this, the air resistance is changing our trajectory a little bit, which is good. Just trying to shallow this out. And as we get to the top here, I am going to EVA her. Never mind, we're going down, aren't we? Yeah, we had enough horizontal speed that I'm not going to EVA her. I really thought we'd be going further this time, though. I really, really did. So I'm just trying to bleed off as much speed as possible by being at the horizon line here. And these drogue chutes, I want them to deploy as high as possible. Hopefully Valentina doesn't die, but this was entirely my error. If she dies, well, she doesn't have XP. And, it's my fault. We'll see how fast we actually end up going, though, on this descent. I have no idea what this rocket's terminal velocity is when we're holding like this for maximum aerodynamic resistance. We're going to be starting to hit the thicker portion of the atmosphere here pretty soon. So, in theory, oh, we're starting to have to fight this. It's wanting to flip us now. Which is a good sign. Okay, there's drogue chutes. We're fine. This is fine. Valentina is fine. Excellent. We don't need SAS anymore. Main chute can get deployed. And we'll physics warp back down. I can't believe that I messed that up twice in a row. but here we are. Okay, drogue chutes deploy. Main chute will deploy here pretty soon. The game crash was weird, though. I was not expecting that for sure. Everything else in this episode has been my fault, though. I do think that we should maybe address that last situation, though, by making a slight tweak to the one eye, and that is specifically lowering the position of the solid rocket motors. I think that would be a good plan. I'm going to go ahead and eject this heat shield, seeing as it's going to blow up anyway at these velocities. We may as well touch down slightly slower without that weight. Okay. And here we are. I guess we can do a mystery goo observation here. That's fine. So we'll get some science from that. It's not a complete waste. That said, that does mean that we're going to need at least 2 more flights. Our funding is actually doing okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and make that modification. I want to make sure that these are mounted on here a wee bit lower. So we'll go ahead and mount them maybe there instead. Of course, if we're actually throttled up, it shouldn't make a difference. So this time, we're going to fly Valentina again, and I promise this time we're going into orbit. I hope. I wish. I throttled up. I turned on SAS. See, this is why actual rocket launches have checklists. So you don't make dumb mistakes like that. Wonderful. Okay, let's go. Solid rocket motors will get us to where we need to go altitude-wise, almost. So I'm thinking that we're going to burn basically the entire tank at the horizon. We'll keep a little in reserve for deorbiting, obviously. But most of our insertion burn is going to be, for sure, at the horizon. And overall, this should be just ever so slightly safer. And by ever so slightly, I mean incredibly safer. Perfect. So, yep, I thought I was going a little too aggressively on that. The good old backflip. Oh, we're going this way again. Okay. Perfect. That's what happens when I go too aggressive on the gravity turn. We're okay, though. We're completely fine. There we go. We'll just hold right here at the horizon. And I'll go ahead and close these Science Junior doors. So, to fix the backflip, all I really need to do is be less aggressive with that initial gravity turn. It's because we're trying to change so much velocity while in the atmosphere that the aerodynamic forces become just impossible to overwhelm, or to overcome. So we need to be a little more smooth with that. Hopefully, as we get some aerodynamic control surfaces unlocked, hopefully we'll be able to start our gravity turn in the solid rocket phase, or just shift that over to a liquid phase. That would also be very doable. Just asparagus it. We will need to have... Actually, we're doing well on the apoapsis, so I'm going to cut the throttle there. Yeah, 2 minutes, 33 seconds. Do we have access to maneuver nodes? We absolutely do. How much DV is it to get into proper orbit here? That's basically circularized. That's about 400. Technically, we don't need to be that circularized. We can be about here. Yeah, this will be fine. Okay, we are now in space, so let's go ahead and grab our science with an actual quasi-successful launch. We'll do a mystery goo observation. And then we're actually going to grab a second one as well. We're going to EVA. EVA report. Fantastic. Okay, we'll aim for the maneuver node. This is a burn time of 9 seconds. So we're going to need to start this burn at 4.5 seconds. This is the first time we've had the maneuver system unlocked, which makes things so much easier. That's our first spacewalk in orbit of Kerbal. It's always fun. Okay. So, let's go ahead and do this. We should have plenty of DV for the deorbit as well. Oh, SAS is off. That explains why this is drifting all over. There we go. And we'll just warp a little bit towards the maneuver. This is going to be in about, or at about 4.5 seconds. So we'll go down to about T-minus 10 seconds. There we go. This is going to be right at prograde, but Valentina can't lock to prograde just yet. We want to burn now. Okay, I'm just going to burn a little more cautiously. There we go. Good enough. We are in orbit. We've got 434 meters per second to get back with, so that is perfectly fine. I do want time warp to stop, and we are going to time warp around here and see what biomes we can get. Shores? Okay, we'll EVA that. Fantastic. Grasslands. We'll EVA and grab that. We'll go ahead and collect all of our data for now. What else do we have? We're fine over water, and we're going to be over water for a bit. That was shores, grasslands. Oh, this only stops time warp now if you enter something... Oh, that's nice. If you enter one where you don't have data. I really like that. That is a huge improvement to X Science. That is a huge quality of life improvement. I love it. Okay, we're going to collect all of this data. And we're going to continue warping around and seeing what we can see in terms of biomes. Ooh, hello, that was a little much. But we got deserts. Excellent. Okay, and we are going to be... Let's see, that's the KSC right there. So that's pretty much a full orbit. And I think we should go ahead and head retrograde and bring this home. Although, I'm actually going to stay right about here. And we're going to do that burn at the periapsis. I want to see just how much DV this will take. Technically, it's more efficient to re-enter from the apoapsis, but I want to see how much DV that'll take. Oh, that's fine. That's not an issue. We'll aim for 25 kilometers, I think. 24 and 25. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and warp to next maneuver. I really like that this only changes if there's one that you can do within the threshold now. That is really, really neat. So this is a 1 second burn. We're going to want to burn right at about T-minus 3 to 4 seconds, and I'm not going to burn very much. So we are just going to park right here, and I'm going to warp forward to stabilize, as well as get us a little bit closer to the node time. Okay, right around here. So we'll start our burn now. Okay, that should be good enough. Yeah, that's plenty good enough. And now we will just warp forward until we're in the atmosphere, and we're instantly in the atmosphere. We're flying high, but this is super dangerous to grab this EVA report right now. So we are definitely not going to do that. Instead, we are going to wait until we get a little deeper into the atmosphere. However, it is about time to put a cut in here. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that because this re-entry profile is going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, we will perform this re-entry maneuver. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.